Thank you all for coming this evening. It is 6 o'clock, so I am going to officially call this meeting to order. And if you would all like to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board members, have you had a chance to take a look at the agenda this evening? I have not been aware, or have not been made aware of any changes or corrections at this time. So is there a motion?
I'll move to accept the agenda as written.
I will second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the agenda has passed. We're going to begin tonight with the superintendent's report. So Superintendent Jesse, it's all yours.
Thank you, Board President Davidson, other board directors, community members, and staff. I would just like to start off with extending my thoughts to the students, families, and community members of Uvalde, Texas. Another terrible mass shooting and another tragedy here in the United States. And it does make me want to reflect about us and what we do here in the Shelton School District. I want to make sure we emphasize that we are around our student wellness. This has to start with how we conduct ourselves in creating a positive culture inside our classrooms, across our schools, out on the playgrounds, and at our activities and events. When we have places that students and families feel safe, it promotes wellness. And I'm talking about mental health and wellness. And so that is one of the key things for us in our new strategic plan, safe and welcoming environments. We are extending ourselves and supporting ultimately the mental health of our students, and will continue to do so because I think that's very important to helping prevent any more of these kind of mass shootings. So again, I want to extend myself to Uvalde, Texas. My heart goes out to them and all the pain that must be going on right now. On a different topic, I was able, along with some of the board directors and some of the staff out there, to attend the button robe ceremony last Friday night. What a special event it was to hear the stories and the pathways of our students. We talk about that, college and career readiness. What is your journey through education? And we got to hear that loud and clear. I could tell a lot of our parents and guardians were extremely proud of our students. Some of them are the first in their family to graduate from high school. Is quite an amazing feat for some of the things that our students have persevered through, and I just really, again, was really inspired about their journey and ultimately where their next steps are too as well. Speaking of recognitions and celebrations, it was right after, 2 weeks ago, right after our school board meeting the next day, I was fortunate enough to go to a recognition ceremony for 3 of our graduating students at Mason Health. We, as part of our Health and Science Academy, we, in our partnership with Mason Health, we have 3 of our students moving on, 2 of them through the paid RN program and another one as a medical tech. If you could have been there with me, you would have seen 3 students really smiling so widely about that opportunity. If you just think about that, they're graduating with further paid education and a guaranteed job. And as Eric Mull, who's a CEO over there at Mason Health, said, he goes, and already are going to have a fund for their retirement. So I thought that's pretty unique. Those partnerships are really special for us and for our students and our families. That is part of our job, is to prepare to have them walk out of the doors of the Shelton School District with employment, with further education already available to them, and so they already know where that's at. A lot of those fears are taken away, so that was an awesome opportunity. And I suspect you'll be hearing more of those kind of opportunities as we continue to work with other local organizations and also healthcare providers as we look to expand just that pathway around entering the medical profession. So more to come on that. And then my last comment is just tomorrow is the kickoff to the new strategic plan, as well as the opening of the Met building, which is on the SHS campus. Come join us there on the SH campus for the opening of the Met Academy building and the kickoff. It starts at 4 p.m. and extends all the way to 6. Lots of things will be going on. The band will be playing. You can see students operating some of the machinery and equipment, demonstrating their knowledge around STEM. And you can also pick up a book for your students. So those family members that are in the audience, if you're looking for a book for your student, I'd love to see you there. We have books for all ages and all levels and interest. And we'll also have some food and water available for those to come through. So really an exciting opportunity to have us come together as a community as hopefully we're moving on from this pandemic. So with that, that concludes my comments. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for all of that information. So next up is community comments, and we do have about 6 people that have signed up for community comments. If there are any others, just please let us know. I'm going to read the standard language that we have around community comments, and then I will call each person up to the podium. As part of the regular school board meeting, the board invites community members to make public comments in person and/or by phone as conditions allow. If speaking in person, please follow the public comment procedure by signing in and stating your name and address at the podium when called by the board chair. If making comments by phone, please dial 1-253-215-8782 and enter meeting ID number 872-5618-1978. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the board is not allowed to discuss items that are not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise during the public comment as appropriate. The board will not allow complaints against an individual staff member or student in open session unless the individual has requested an open public hearing. And as I read these names, I apologize if I mispronounce them. If you come up to the podium and you can please state your name for us. The first person I have is Mary, is it Entis? I'll let you say it as you get up here. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ehlers. I reside at 2941 Winthrop Circle, Southwest Tumwater, Washington. First, I would like to thank you, Mrs. Davidson, Mr. Best, Mrs. Ward, Mr. Wielander, Mrs. Tarswell, Ms. Wyatt, Mr. Beckman, and Mr. Martin for your service to this community. School boards play an important role in making space for everyone in the community to have meaningful access to education. In addition, I am grateful for the change in district leadership and have appreciated Mr. Jesse's willingness to come to Evergreen and listen to the concerns we have regarding the dual language program. I am here tonight to ask you to not limit participation in the dual language program in the fall of 2022. Mr. Jesse has stated that he plans to restrict enrollment to incoming kindergartners to 40 total enrolled students. I am asking that you continue to support participation in the dual language program by not restricting enrollment by an arbitrary number. For context, this year our kindergarten cohort is 77 in the dual language program. When we were a whole school program, our enrollment numbers were nearly 100. So in light of this new restriction, which 37 of my current students would you exclude from this valuable opportunity? I have been a teacher at Evergreen Elementary for 18 years. I came to Shelton because of the dual language program. I bought a house in Shelton. I enrolled my own children at Evergreen Elementary. Due to the slow erosion of the dual language program at Evergreen, I have moved to Tumwater. I continue to work at Evergreen and have hoped that the new district leadership would help repair the damage done over the last 5 years. When I began in 2002, Evergreen was a whole school dual language program. It remained a whole school program until 2019. While I support some of Mr. Jesse's actions, like hiring a district position to support the multilingual learners in Shelton, and share his concerns that our dual language program needs better leadership and support, I am, however, opposed to limiting enrollment to 40 kindergartners in the upcoming school year. So I would like for the board to encourage that requirement be dropped. And a few weeks ago, you heard from former Evergreen students what participating in the dual language program meant for them. And if you proceed with limiting their participation, or the participation of this community, and excluding some families who are choosing to enroll their students in dual language, which one of those would you pick to exclude? Kiara, Marie, Cain? It is good to offer choices to families. Many Hispanic families choose Evergreen, making Evergreen a place of congregation, not segregation. Please do not shut the door on them. Some English-speaking families choose Evergreen because they value the opportunity to learn 2 languages from an early age, and please do not leave them out. They say that a third time is a charm, so I'm going to ask you one more time, please do not place an enrollment cap for dual language program in the upcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Aidi Villalobos? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, school board, education staff, and community members. My name is Aide Villalobos. I live in Tumwater, 3080 Hampton Drive Southwest. But I teach in Shelton. I have 22 years of experience as an EL teacher and as a bilingual dual language teacher. I also have a first grader who is an identified English learner, my son, who is enrolled in the dual language program at Evergreen Elementary. Learner programs in Shelton School District, the dual language program. For some of us who have children identified as English learner, this program is their access to a meaningful education and ELD, English language development, which are both federal civil rights as well as state laws. Over the last 2 decades, the dual language program at Evergreen has provided a meaningful education to hundreds of former English learners. But now, systematic barriers are being implemented that are preventing families with English learner children from accessing the dual language program. This undermines equity, equality, and their civil rights. One of these barriers are the myths and misinformation that are being perpetuated. Myth number 1, dual language is not a mandate. Washington State K-12 schools are regulated according to the Revised Code of Washington, also known as RCW, which are laws passed by the legislature. Let me emphasize that RCWs are laws. Please refer to the copy I have given you, RCW 28A.180.030 4A. Transitional bilingual instruction means a system of instruction which uses 2 languages, one of which is English, as a means of instruction to build upon and expand language skills to enable the pupil to achieve competency in English. Concepts and information are introduced in the primary language and reinforced in the second language. RCW 28A 180.040 1A. School board duties, that is you. Every school district board of directors shall make available to each eligible pupil a transitional bilingual instruction to achieve competency in English in accordance with the rules of the Superintendent of Public Instruction. This is Washington State's definitions and laws, and under these laws, dual language does qualify as a state-approved English learner program. In fact, it is on their site as one of their approved programs for English learners. Therefore, yes, it is a law for eligible English learners. Any school board with ELs in their district must understand this law, and I invite any board member here who does not fully understand this law to reach out to OSPI. They do not charge a fee and are happy to assist any district, including Shelton School District, to understand their legal responsibilities to English learners. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Dawson. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Dawson. I live at 5448 2nd Avenue Southwest in Olympia. I teach in Shelton and have been teaching in the dual language program at Evergreen for 8 years. I have a dual teaching endorsement in elementary education and in English language learners. And I have my national board certification in English as a new language. I'm at Evergreen because of the dual language program. A dual language program, when supported appropriately, has the best long-term outcomes for ELs to have their access to the standards and to develop their English language proficiency. It helps students maintain their cultural identity while having multiple opportunities to earn through others' perspectives. As my colleague mentioned, it is mandated by the state that multilingual learners have access to transitional bilingual instruction, meaning dual language. I'm here to talk about another of the services that we as a school district are legally required to provide for our multilingual learners within any English learner program, English language development, or ELD. ELD is instruction designed specifically for English language learners to develop their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills in English, and is meant to be designated time apart from regular instruction, and meant to be used alongside work done by a general education teacher providing meaningful access to content. The resources and materials for ELD must be specifically designed for multilingual learners. It must be delivered by a trained, certificated teacher with a bilingual education or English language learner endorsement. You can see in the pamphlet that I gave you that there are several options for what it might look like. That's directly from OSPI, but also that the resources and training are non-negotiable and must be provided by the district. My colleagues and I have not had access to specifically designed curriculum and training for ELD since Adina left, and therefore we have not, as a school, been able to teach ELD as required by law. We need training on how to use WIDA standards to create high-quality instruction for our ELs, and we need access to specially designed ELD curriculum and resources. We need designated scheduled time within the school day to teach ELD. When systemic barriers such as this obstruct the education of our ELs, we see consequences in SBAC scores, district assessments, graduation rates, and it can have long-term effects on our students long after they leave our schools. English learners who lack ELD in dual language or any other English learner program have their ability to read, speak, write, and understand in English seriously compromised. And we can see that in our school's test scores. In order to support our EL students' success in school and to fulfill our federal civil rights obligations, I call on you, esteemed members of the board, to do the following. Become educated about English language development. I encourage you to reach out to the appropriate experts at OSPI. Prioritize ELD training and curriculum for teachers to use right now, not in 2 years. And prioritize time in each school day for designated English language development for all eligible ELs. This could look like what we've had in the past for reading intervention. Thank you.
Thank you. Socorro Villada.
Good evening. We have a great turnout tonight. Look at this. I would like to give them a special round of applause. This is for the dual language program. They're here to support it. So on April 26th, me along with some other community members met with Superintendent Jesse, and I wrote down some notes that came out of his mouth that I thought would be great to bring to this meeting. The first one is the district has not invested in the dual language program. Number two, we need to make it a high quality program again. Number three, the dual language program is not going away. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like it is. And then number four, the path is going to start with the staff and the leadership. 5, we need to define what the dual language program is and decide what materials, curriculum, resources are needed. And the last one is we need to work with the staff to understand what needs to change to better this program. Mine is pretty short. Thank you for your time. I live at 425 Dearborn in Shelton.
Thank you. And again, I do apologize if I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong. If I can remind you to state your name when you come up to the podium, especially if I am getting it wrong. Eric Forsyth.
Hi, my name is Eric Forsyth, and I came out here tonight to just show support for the dual language program at Evergreen Elementary. We moved here from Mexico in 2013. Both of my children are receiving dual language, or my daughter graduated. We thought she would receive this year in 5th grade, but it turns out that there wasn't interest in dual language in 5th grade among the community, which somehow I doubt by seeing this group tonight. I just wanted to show support in general and let parents in the community know that the school, Evergreen Elementary, is, in my opinion, the best elementary school in town. And I can say that because dual language did not hurt my children at all. In fact, my daughter, who's now in 5th grade, is flourishing. She's doing excellent academically. 3 and 4 in science. She didn't like math. And who can blame someone that's doing multiplication and division over Zoom? As soon as they got back into class, however, that all turned around. And thanks to Mr. Gonzalez, who I see here tonight, now math and science is one of her favorite subjects. So if there's any doubt, Evergreen's not a bad school. Anyone that's in my shoes choosing school, in fact, I sent an intra-district transfer request every single year to keep my students at the school. They should consider it. It's a top-notch education, and if you see by the district report card or the different grades that are coming in, the testing, well, you see later on the dual language students catch up. You don't base all your judgments on 4th grade. They catch up. And that's even more of a reason to continue into the middle school years to have dual language, because the studies show more years in dual language, better results. So I ask you, please do whatever you can to keep the enrollment up. If you have any kids that you're enrolling, please enroll them in dual language. It's the best option. They will learn more than any other options. Lastly, I just want to address recess really quickly. Speaking of my daughter, she really didn't like 5th grade not having recess. Developmentally, most kids in 5th grade are 10, 11 years old. Some have PE twice a week. Some have PE 3 times a week, which is good. 2 times, probably not enough. And I'd really like to ask that they reconsider revoking the lunch recess, the lunch break, as punishment. Because developmentally, for a 10-year-old, they need time for that self-regulation. They need some physical activity. And I just want to bring that to your attention, that you have 10-year-olds that might not be getting any physical activity at all, especially the ones that probably most need it. And that's all I have to say. So thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list, I have Vianney, Ocejo.
Muy buenas tardes, adorable mesa de consejo, ¿verdad? Mi nombre es Vianney Ocejo. Vivo en la dirección 940 Fairmont, apartamento 7, Shelton, Washington. Bueno, pues yo estoy apoyando también el programa bilingüe y yo estoy muy agradecida y emocionada porque ese programa ha apoyado a muchos estudiantes, principalmente a una de mis estudiantes que se llama Jasmine Fauchet y que en este mes se ha graduado orgullosamente, lo digo, porque ese programa bilingüe nos da un orgullo hispano, al menos a mí, por mi hija, y tengo 2 estudiantes más. Y por eso yo me agradezco y me orgullezco en apoyar el programa bilingüe, porque mi hija se ha graduado con toda de la ley. Okay. Y vaya que no dejemos que nuestros estudiantes pierdan eso importante de aprender el español y el inglés. ¿Por qué? Porque les ayuda a abrir una puerta más a su camino y a su apoyo al colegio y al futuro principalmente, porque les va a abrir puertas excelentes más adelante. Sí. Y mi otro tema es apoyar a ver un pequeño percance que sucedió con mi niño, sí, que está recibiendo el EAP y yo he firmado, como escuché aquí al presente señor, que está apoyando a los problemas de violencia sobre las escuelas, ¿verdad? Entonces, mi hijo, me hicieron firmar un documento donde mi hijo no iba a ser tocado cuando está recibiendo EAP y lamentablemente mi hijo ha sido tocado. ¿Sí? Y otro, de que mi hijo ha sido castigado sin recibir recreo y hacer tareas durante su recreo. Y yo pienso que eso es contra la ley. Y pues esperemos que podamos ver algo o que se arregle algo sobre este asunto, sobre el niño, porque yo pienso que todos los niños merecemos un respeto y el recreo que es aprobado por la ley. Yo pienso que por el momento eso es todo y espero que no nos hagamos para atrás. Hay que permitir que nuestro programa bilingüe sea abierto todo el tiempo y durante el año que sea necesario. Gracias.
Thank you. The last name I have is Candelero Gonzalez.
Hello, my name is Candelario Gonzalez. I live at 1018 West Harvard Avenue. I will be reading some comments in Spanish and I will have the interpreter interpret them in English. Estos comentarios son de padres que creen en el programa bilingüe.
Who believe in the bilingual program.
Hola, mi nombre es Lorenza Francisco y yo vivo en Shelton.
I live in Shelton.
El programa bilingüe de doble inmersión
Program of double immersion
es importante porque mis hijos necesitan saber y comunicarse conmigo
communicate with me
y con sus abuelos.
and with their grandparents.
En este momento,
At this moment,
algo que no me parece es
that I don't think is good,
que quiten el programa.
that is to remove this program.
Algo que yo creo que necesita cambiar es
That I believe needs to change.
el programa debe expandirse a otras escuelas primarias
The program should be expanded into other elementary schools
que enseñan español e inglés
that are teaching English and Spanish
en las otras escuelas primarias.
in other elementary schools.
Lorenza Francisco de Shelton.
Lorenza Francisco from Shelton.
Me parece mal que algunas familias
That some families
no saben sobre esto
are not aware of this
y han sacado a sus hijos
and have removed
del programa bilingüe
bilingual program.
y los han puesto en esas clases de puro inglés
Are putting these children in only English learning schools
sin que los padres nos damos cuenta
without being aware,
porque el distrito no nos dice nada
because the district is not telling us anything.
y al igual los maestros nos avisan que hay cambios
And in the same manner, the teachers tell us
en la,
there are changes
en la clase de los niños.
in the children's classes.
Esta es una falta de comunicación, es un problema.
This is lack of communications, and it is indeed a problem.
Faustina Mendoza Calmo.
Faustina Mendoza Calmo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that does conclude our community comment portion for this part of the meeting. We are going to move to reports and recognitions. First up, 5.01, we've got one student representative here with us this evening. So Quinn, you're it tonight. Let's hear your report.
Not sure I'll come up to that. I'd like to say thank you to all of you for coming here, by the way. I know for a fact that all the students at Cedar really would support you if they could be here right now. And I think one of the most valuable things that I've learned at Cedar over my time there is that everybody deserves language. I take an ASL class with our very amazing teacher, Margaret Ramirez. She is probably one of the most brilliant people I know, and there's a whole segment of that class which is dedicated to the fact that there are millions of people across the planet who are deaf. And often in non-deaf communities, they aren't allowed to learn language. They're forced to try and learn, a sort of hearing language like English. And I think one of the most important things that we've learned is that allowing people to talk and allowing people to learn and to learn different languages is one of the most important things to having a functioning society as well as a functioning person, and really allowing us to all work together. And I know for a fact that if any more Cedar students could be here, they'd all absolutely be welcoming you with open arms, because I think that absolutely embraces what we should be all about, is having people learn multiple languages, allowing people to have these skills that allow them to work in America and allow them to prosper not only in Shelton, but everywhere across the world. Anyways, moving on from that, at Cedar, we had prom last Saturday with a very large turnout. I was there. It was nice. Probably one of our biggest events. We actually had, as one of the people planning, we had a much larger turnout than we thought we were gonna, and it was very surprising. We were very pleased. We had makeup testing days last Tuesday for those who missed the science and math tests earlier in the year. The teachers had an NTN training today to help our prospering relationship with the New Tech Network sort of branch that we work with in order to help our school be more online and also have a successful project-based learning setup. We had Sam Miller come for our community event. He's a comedian, he's local. That was also very successful, and he was a funny guy. I actually liked him. I got to meet him and talk to him afterwards. Our Envirothon state team placed 8th place as it went. Our first Envirothon team. We're hoping to have another team next year, and we're hoping to participate again. Graduation prep, June 1st is our first practice, and then on June 3rd we're going to have the graduation itself in the PAC. Cannot wait. I know so many seniors are really excited. Our graduating class is really glad that they've got all these skills and they're ready to head out into the workplace and into higher education, and we're all really glad for them. And then we're also going to have the Yesteryear Car Club escort our seniors to the graduation in some really nice, fancy, old-fashioned cars, and we cannot wait. On a more personal note, last Tuesday, we had our first ant hatching. Our first ant named Benji came out of our science classes ant farm, and we are so happy to have her. She's really healthy, and they're doing really well.
All right. Thank you, Quinn, always for your wonderful reports. We appreciate having you on the board, and that segues into the next 5.02. We've got recognition of outgoing student board representatives. This is, since you're graduating before our next school board meeting, this is officially your last. Well, do we have student representatives going through the summertime? Yeah, it's my last week, but I'm not graduating. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't, so I'll back that up. This will be the last school board meeting for the school year and for students joining us on that, graduating or not. So, all right, so going into 5.02, we've got recognition of outgoing student school board representatives with Superintendent. Jesse.
Graduating can mean a lot of things, so we can use our resource, the dictionary, in many different meanings. Sometimes things moving on, and more formal than for some than others. Working right up the comments of Board President Davidson, I was doing some reflection about our 3 school board representatives who are our students and from our 3 high schools, and I was like, wow, it's just one of the really neat things coming to the Shelton School District is that we do have student representatives here and that they carry through all the way through the school year. And that's not necessarily something that's usual. Different school boards, different school districts configure themselves differently. And I was thinking about what a great opportunity it is for our students to have a chance to sit up here and go through board meetings month by month and through the entire cycle of a school year to kind of see what's going on and how does the school operate. And then there's all sorts of issues and topics like dual language tonight, right? And so you get all sorts of things that come to you and that you've heard and you've made comments on. And so then I started to just think of the 3 particular school reps on the board, and I thought about just the definition of leadership, speaking of definitions. And I just was what is it to be a leader? And to me, all 3 of you definitely represented that. You have some of those traits, which is, putting yourself in uncomfortable places. When you're 16 or 17 years old, coming up here with a bunch of adults, with sometimes a packed room full of people, even within a pandemic, having to wear a mask, having to go online, I think, for you, Quinn, Richard, and Audra, you did a great job for putting yourself there. I also, sometimes you have to take a stance on what is needed, and it might not be so popular. And I know sometimes your advocacy and hearing some of your comments, all 3 of you, I think you should be very proud of yourself for stepping out there. What might be other listeners that don't agree with you, but you're willing to hold on to that. Speaking of holding on to that, you hold on to your values. I can hear that. It's nice how you stress that and what your experiences are. And then the last one is respect for everyone. And so I really feel like all 3 of you have provided a definite role model for other students here in the Shelton School District for being respectful as you do perhaps advocate or share things that are going on for yourself and for others. So kudos to you, Quinn, Richard, who I know is also playing his instrument right now for... Oh, he's super sick. Oh, he couldn't even make it that event. Okay. Okay, sorry. Well, Richard was not supposed to be here because he was in another musical performance, but now he's sick, which does happen as well. Thank you for providing the insight. And Audra, I didn't know if she made it today. I know we were really working hard to get her online. Audra, are you there?
We don't have anyone on.
No, okay. So I know Audra definitely in the beginning of this school year and through the winter, she did a really good job showing up. So I just want to make sure that I recognize her as well. So with that, we're giving I know not a cardboard box with a ribbon on it, but this actually inside the boxes is tons of snacks, the kind that, yes, Quinn, I saw you there before with the energy drink. I think you'll love what's in here. I'm sure Richard and Audra will enjoy some of the snacks in here, anywhere from some potato chips to some gum to some candy, just as showing our appreciation for your commitment to come to the school board meetings and, again, enlighten all of us from your perspective. So with that, I want to hand this to you, Quinn, and say thank you very much. Thank you. So I will just like to wrap up, just because I know there's going to be some people listening in like, all right, what does this mean? If you, this year we did actually update our board policy on student representatives, so the schools are going through their process right now, and so we'll have new student representatives when we come back in August or September, depending on the exact dates and timelines and availability. So thank you very much.
Yes, and I think if any board members would like to make any comments as well, I will just start and say thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Richard, if you listen to this, and Audra. I know that the majority of the board meetings in the beginning were all Zoom, and you all did such a great job with that and continuing to speak up and give reports for your schools. So I've always appreciated the student voice that you've had on the board. So thank you. I don't know if anybody else would like to make any parting comments at all. You're welcome to do that.
I've enjoyed our meetings before the meetings, and it's nice to have the students' perspective. It's not something that, I mean, school's changed a little bit since I was in high school, admittedly, and so you've provided a friendly and consistent voice to kind of let us know what's going on down there, and it's appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Now it's a debate of whether you or Richard will run for governor first. No, I appreciate your participation. I really do, your insights, as Matthew was saying. But I also see it as an opportunity for that you've learned how the process works and how you can take this to other venues in the future as your opportunity goes, and as you can share to make those venues better as you have made this venue better. So thank you.
Are you on, Sandy?
I think so. Am I on? Okay. All right. Again, I want to commend Quinn and Richard and Audra for stepping up and representing your schools like you do. And even though we don't necessarily get to have a back and forth dialogue here, I do want you to know that, you know, the things that you guys say, the things that you guys bring up, we hear and we talk about other times. You know, it is very valuable, even though you may not feel at the moment like there's a lot of meaningful discussion going on. It does generate a lot of meaningful discussion. So thank you.
And I'm just going to chime in with the rest of the board and thank you very much. I've really enjoyed listening to you and the things that you have shared about your school and the others with their schools, and I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much, Quinn, for sticking with us this whole time. All right, moving on to 5.03, we've got summer programming with Mary Ann Marshall.
Good evening, President Davidson, distinguished members of the board. I'm here to just share with you some exciting things that we have going on in the Shelton School District for summer programs. First off is our sensational summer school that will be focused on our K-8 students who are not meeting grade level standards in reading and math. And this will help our students in the momentum that they're leaving off in the school year. Our summer school will be running from June 20th to July 14th. The best part is our students in grades K-8 will be having 3 field trips provided by the 21st Century Grant, so that'll be exciting. So we'll have units during the weeks focused on a particular topic, and for example, they might go to the Point Defiance Zoo or something, so I'm excited for students to be able to do that. We also have summer school going on for our high school students, which is focused in on credit retrieval. Shelton High School is hosting a summer math camp for incoming 9th graders. And that will be going at the same time as summer school, June 20th through July 14th. They have partnered with the Ridge Motorsport Park And students will be engaging in fun things like paper airplane competitions, balloon car races, and then there'll just be some more exciting activities for students to participate that will help to make learning math fun in real-world situations. Next up, we have SHS putting on a summer reading program. And our high school teachers put together a really fun commercial that I'd like to show you that just explains all about what's happening at SHS.
Me too. What are we gonna do this summer? There's gonna be nothing to do. Oh my God. Nothing. Oh my God. Right? I wish like something like super exciting. Oh my God. I finally wouldn't be bored anymore. What are we gonna do this summer? For real? You can ask them. I don't even know. Why don't you know? Because boredom has ruined my brain. I'm working. My phone. Did somebody say boredom?
Oh my goodness.
You need to join the summer reading book club. We got books like The Hate You Did, I Know When to Change Birthdays, The Haunting of Hill House, The Book Thief, and Aristotle and Dante. Tell me what else, Shabilsky.
Join us this summer to read some great books, talk about friends about them, and earn the chance to win an iPad and other great prizes. During the program, you will get the chance to read one of 8 books. We will meet via Zoom once a week to talk about our books and see what you all thought. Then, you'll get a chance to design a new book cover for the book you read and be entered in a contest to win an iPad. To sign up, please email either Mr. Cohn, Mix Manke, or Abby Shabilsky. Book choices include The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Sayans, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, and Invictus by John Harlan. Don't be bored this summer. Instead, make some connections and build some skills for high school. Hope to see you there.
All right, any questions?
No, that was a great commercial. I will say I did have the opportunity to talk to Principal Kipper at the button robe ceremony, and he was very excited about the summer reading program and the partnership with the Ridge. And I just want to, say, kudos to whoever thought these all through. They sound like they're going to be fun ways at getting education and credit retrieval, so I really do appreciate that. I mean, the partnership with the Ridge, a local business, has been fantastic before in the past, and it sounds like they're stepping up again with this. And it looks like there's a big effort to make this fun and not just educational and boring, as the two in the beginning first said. So I think it looks great. I'm excited that that's being offered this summer, especially after coming off of the pandemic and having the struggles that I know my own children did have with online learning. So this is an active, face-to-face way of getting some learning in. So I'm excited that they're being offered. I don't have any questions at this time. I don't know if anybody has. Sandy, you're welcome.
Do we know what enrollment will be?
Yeah, so particularly for our summer school program, right now we have around 129 students in grades K through 4 enrolled. Enrollment is still open, so that was the elementary numbers as of today. I didn't get a chance to get an update from our summer school coordinator on our 5-8, but I know that the high school summer school program is around 73 as of today for their credit retrieval, and for our math and for our summer reading program that Shelton High School is putting on for incoming 9th graders, those are both at 60, they have 60 seats for each of those.
Did you?
Yeah, just to clarify, so the 60 seats for the pre-algebra class, that and the required reading coming into 9th grade is for all 3 high schools. It's a joint effort between Cedar, Choice, and Shelton High School.
Are you saying the 60?
So the 60 seats was for that algebra class, kind of a prep for algebra class.
And that's
there's some
9th grade
students.
only?
It's for incoming 9th grade only as they come in. That's part of a key transition. And so there are some students coming in from Choice and Cedar as well. And then the reading was a joint effort between the ELA teachers across the 3 schools as well. And so they'll all have that experience. That's not 60, that's all of them, all incoming 9th graders, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
All right.
I don't think there's any other questions.
Who chose the book list? Holy smokes, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
There will not be somebody who hates reading at the end of the summer. That was kudos to whoever did that. Thank you.
Yeah, so as the high school English teachers came together to put together a book list and also student participation in that as well.
Don't panic, there'll be something for you.
There's something for everybody with those books, so we're excited.
I think is that it? No more questions? All right. And you're staying up there because you're doing the next one. So 5.04 is the Most Inspiring Student Awards with Marianne as well.
All right, well, I wanted to give our building principals an opportunity to share with the board tonight student achievement, whether that was academic or non-academic, and just celebrate their students as they've come back to school for the 21-22 school year. So I'm going to call up Kyle O'Neill to start off to just share with you what's happening at Bordeaux. I think there should be some slides with this as well.
All right, thank you Superintendent Jesse and board members for having us. I'm excited to share a little bit about what we do at Bordeaux and to hear what my fellow colleagues do at their schools to celebrate students. So up here is some ways that we just recognize and celebrate our students in whole groups. And so these are, you can see Buddy the Bulldog up there. Students are able to earn, or classes are able to earn what we term big paws. Those big paws are for meeting our safe, respectful, and responsible expectations as a class. And so anybody can give those away. You can give them if you see a group of students walking in the hallway quietly, or if they do well in PE or one of the other specialists. And then they get different awards. So Buddy the Bulldog comes, gives them a certificate. You can see our 4th graders down here in the bottom left corner. Got a pizza party. We do bingo. They get Otter Pops, extra recess, just a way to kind of celebrate them as a whole class, so they're working together as a team. Down in the bottom 2, you can see Buddy the Bulldog as well. There is sometimes a rumor that I am Buddy the Bulldog, but you can see that that is not correct as I'm standing next to him. And he is taller than I am. But those are for our individual students who earn our Bulldog tickets for being, again, safe, respectful, and responsible. Then on Friday, they get their name called, they get to come down, get a pencil, and get their pictures taken. If you want to go to there. So these are some ways that we recognize some individual students, and again, these are for academic and then also just socio-emotional success. And so you can see that Isaiah up on the top, I mean, that smile says it all right there. But he got a Bordeaux Elementary certificate for doing well in math in 3rd grade. You can see right below him there's some other 3rd graders who are getting their Math Whiz t-shirts and certificates. And then our 2nd grade teams recognize students, and we call them the top dogs. And so they get recognized for academic and following the expectations within their classroom. So just another way that we try and recognize individual students in both 2nd and 3rd grade for both academic achievement and following our school expectations. So unless there's any other questions, I'll pass it off to my next principal.
Any questions at this time? No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the principal from Evergreen Elementary.
Okay, good. I'm happy I didn't have to worry about the technology, because that's always the scariest part. Perfect. Okay, I'm Amber Targus, and I'm the principal at Evergreen Elementary. We have a lot of fun celebrations that we celebrate. I just had to choose a couple because we have a lot of different pictures to share. We do something called the Wildcat Wows. We are Evergreen Wildcats. And these are our little tickets, and students get them for making good decisions, solving problems, and showing respect. So they put these into a big bin, and every Friday we pull names. We're not strategic about it. They think we are sometimes, but we're not. We pull names to celebrate students for that week. They actually get something from our treasure chest, and their favorite thing right now is actually lunch with the principal or lunch with the assistant principal. I have to renew those because I've run out. They've kind of cleaned house on those, so I need to make sure we get some more of those. But we've kind of just accumulated fun prizes over the years and just put them in there. We also take a picture with them on Fridays. You can see actually one of our most recent was Dia de los Niños, and so we had decorations up in the hallways and just celebrating Children's Day. So that was a really fun celebration, but also a great time to have Wildcat Wow drawings. On the other side of the screen, you will see our Wildcat of the Month. This is something we implemented this year, and this is a fun way to actually kind of appreciate the different characteristics that we want to see in our students. So some of the most specific ones, perseverance is what we're working on right now, and I feel like that is a really appropriate word for the month of May, is just trying to make it till the very end. So that's what we're working on right now, and you can see we take pictures with our students, and we actually hold an assembly. We've been doing this via Zoom because trying to make it safe for everybody, but we have a hallway outside of our gym, and it has all the pictures of the students who have won so far, and we actually select staff members as well. I don't select them. All the teaching staff does, so that's been a fun way to celebrate. The staff gets different prizes, but the students have been pretty excited by their prizes so far. We're going to continue that next year, but we're going to mix up probably the different celebrations that we do. Oh, now the technology. Okay, another fun incentive that we've implemented this year was our popcorn attendance incentive. So there is actually like pom-poms, that's what we put in the jars. And if a grade level, so kindergarten, let's say, is going for the top attendance that day. So the class that has the top attendance actually will get a pom-pom that day. The one who has the top for the week actually gets 5. When they fill up their jars, they get a popcorn party. So that's what you'll see celebrations down below from different teachers and celebrating with their students as well too. We also celebrate our weekly attendance on our bulletin boards as well, and you can just see some staff members celebrating. We actually go old school and we bring out the popcorn machine. So it is not microwave popcorn, it's the old school machines. Any questions? Okay.
No.
Thank you for letting me share my celebrations. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I think I always loved a popcorn party when I was in elementary school.
Next up, we have Mary Johnson, principal for Mountain View.
Good evening, Board President Davidson and fellow board members. I'm Mary Johnson, and I'm the principal at Mountain View Elementary. It's great to see all of you tonight, and thanks for having us. At Mountain View, we celebrate our students in many ways. We celebrate students for following our school pledge, or promise as we call it, which is we promise to be kind, be safe, and work hard. We also recognize and celebrate our students for good attendance, for academic achievement, reading counts, birthdays, when they exit programs. This first slide up here talks about the types of things we do at our Tier 1 PBIS level. Be kind, be safe, work hard. Students at Mountain View can earn confetti in every location, whether it's on the playground, on the school bus, And those confettis go into a bin at the end of the week, and we select 2 students from every grade level. We acknowledge them with a certificate, their name announced over the intercom. They come down to the Great Hall. We give them a pencil that has our school pledge on it, as well as a really awesome little bracelet, and we take photos. And it's a really great time. We also recognize students, 5 students from every grade level every month. So like Evergreen, we have a different theme for the month. So for example, it might be kindness, integrity, perseverance. And teachers select 5 students, 1 from every grade, 1 from every class at grade. And we do again, we honor them. We have a slideshow presentation that usually Mr. Brownsmith and I will do a little virtual assembly where we'll introduce the kids. The teachers write up why they selected those students, and then we celebrate in some way. So our last one was on May 4th. So of course it was May the 4th be with you. And the students came to the music room. We watched a Lego Star Wars show. We popped popcorn also in the old-fashioned popcorn popper. And the little popcorn cups had Star Wars stuff on it, and they all took home these really cool Star Wars little twisty straws. So it's a fun way to celebrate both every week, monthly. We also put those confettis every week into a very large clear bin. And when that bin gets filled, the students get to choose a special celebration day. So we've had Pajama Day, Crazy Hat Day, Most Colorful Day, and that's a lot of fun as well. Next slide, excellent. Another way that we honor our students in academic achievement is with reading counts. It's an exciting program that has been around for, I think, probably more than 20 years at Mountain View. It helps our students build a love for reading. Students can read books individually. They can read books with their parents. And our teachers will choose books, sometimes novels and sometimes stories, where they will read aloud to the students and create some shared reading where they give opportunities for some authentic dialogue around what is happening in the book. And then students are able to take tests and earn points for reading counts. This program is accessible to all students. There's no set goal. The goals are individually set for students based on kind of, what is reasonable for them, and both developmentally and where they're at. We have monthly reading counts assemblies where the students come down, we acknowledge them, so it's a fresh start. It's not building month after month. Every month it's a new set of students who have improved their reading skills, who have earned points, who are maybe top readers. We have the Million Word Club, so students throughout the year that read up to 1 million words are part of our Million Words Club. This year we have a Lego theme, and it's just a great way. Our students love it. I think Mrs. Davidson can probably talk about the fun around it. And then it culminates at the end of the year with a very big assembly where we partner with one of our local civic groups, and the children, all children in our building that have participated, which is every student in grades 1st through 4th grade, are put into a drawing where they can win a bicycle. And it's a pretty big, exciting event. So those are just some of the things that we do to acknowledge our students. Do you have any questions for me?
Director Best wants to know how he can win a bicycle.
Start reading.
Yeah. No.
The high school has some great books available.
Right, join the summer reading program. No, it's fantastic. I was picturing, my 2 daughters went to Mountain View Elementary, but we didn't go to this new school. And so I kept picturing the reading counts assemblies that I had been to in the old school gym. So you brought back a lot of nice memories. But yeah, each one of the elementary schools, it sounds like you're all doing very wonderful things to keep it fun and celebrate the individual achievements of the kids, which is so important right now. So thank you for doing all of that. In your confetti bin, were you saying that those were student ideas for celebrations that they were putting in?
No, the confetti bin is all that, so at the end of the week, instead of disposing of it. We put it in this very large bin that we have that's clear so the kids can see it. It's in our big, when you leave tonight, if you look in our confetti cupboard or the display case. So as it fills, when it gets to the tops, we do a little drawing so kids can, they put in nominations for what kind of special event they would like. We did this last fall, we did a bubble, so all the kids got bubbles and went out on the playground and blew bubbles. So they nominate different fun celebrations, and then we just randomly select it, and then that's the celebration for that month, or when the bin is filled.
But they actually do the suggestions for some of those.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we want it to be student voice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Olympic Middle School.
Good evening. I'm Chelsea Brady. I'm the principal at Olympic Middle School. So we also have a lot of ways to celebrate and recognize students. I'm going to talk about specific students tonight, but I do want to just mention that we recognize students for following our OMS expectations, which are the same as Mountain View: to be safe, kind, and work hard. We do weekly drawings, monthly, end of trimester, and end of year. Once a month we do something called the Golden Eagle, and then we have Student of the Trimester. So all of those awards are tied to our expectations and are for academic and non-academic celebrations. But tonight specifically, we're going to highlight students that were working hard in reading. And so for this particular recognition, we're looking at students that were working hard as shown by their Lexile assessment. So the following students showed tremendous growth and were working hard in ELA and WIN and reading outside of school. So just for perspective, before I kind of share how much growth they made, typical growth or average growth on this assessment is between 75 to 100 points from fall to spring. So I have our fifth graders here. So Isabella, she grew 403 Lexile points this year, and she is now reading at grade level. So she shared that one of her strategies this year was, on top of reading lots of books, she really enjoyed reading or using audiobooks. We have Johnny Gooley, and she grew 355 Lexile points and is also now reading at grade level. She really enjoyed finding series this year. She especially enjoyed reading Harry Potter. We have Liam Cree, who grew 352 Lexile points from fall to spring. He was already at grade level and is now considered advanced, so he's very excited about that. He also enjoyed finding series in the library. He picked out the Dune series as being his favorite one this year. So then in sixth grade, we had two standout students. Bethany Gordon, who grew 358 Lexile points this year. She's now at grade level and also shared she's noticing a big difference in her reading. So her words, she said she used to read slow and kind of patchy, but now she is reading fluently. She can really see a difference in her comprehension and just her enjoyment in reading. And then finally, we have Mackenzie Francis, who grew 359 Lexile points. And she's most proud of the amount of books that she read this year. She especially enjoyed the Wings of Fire series and really sees how reading frequently improves her skills. So we really wanted to celebrate these specific students for this outstanding growth in reading. And we're super excited about the books that we'll be receiving next year and the work that we're going to be doing around literacy. We'll be sure to share these words of wisdom with our incoming students because they're going to have lots of books to choose from in the classroom. So, does anyone have any questions? All right, awesome, thank you.
All right, next up we have Oakland Bay Junior High.
I was all nervous until I see my kids, and now I'm good. If I can just stare at them while I talk, that would be rude. And I have to wear these. Good evening, President Davidson, Superintendent Jesse, distinguished board members. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Dr. Rachel Tarazi, and I'm the interim principal at Oakland Bay, and those are my kids. Tonight, I'm going to celebrate students on the individual level, and the theme is academic resilience. We too celebrate our students in many ways with our 3 R's of respect, responsibility, and resilience. Our students get tickets, and they get to go to the student store and purchase items that they would like with their earnings, mostly chips, cookies, other sweet treats. And then we have the prize cart as well. So there's lots of fun things we're doing. We're going to have a donut party here in 2 weeks, and those are for all the students who have no office referrals. So that is quite the celebration. I would like to acknowledge each of these individual students. They were nominated by their teachers, and let me just say that my teachers, I only had room for 12 on 2 slides, so I was like, oh, so we're definitely going to celebrate the rest of the nominations. Anna Perez-Pais, she's positive, kind, and eager to learn English as her 3rd language. Christian Domenico Mendoza, he's persistent, has a positive attitude, and has made notable academic progress in ELA. Harmony Stevens excels at participating in class and helps the teacher even when she makes a mistake. Carmen Giovanci, Carmen Giovancini is an active participant in class, giving high quality answers and deepening the class discussions in science. Lorraine Barnes, she works very hard in math this year and shows tremendous resilience. And finally, on this slide is Davin Place. He has made significant growth in all academic areas. This was Davin's first year at being fully included with his general education peers. He has made a positive impact at the Bay. Next slide, please. Thank you. Marcela Mendoza Escalante consistently demonstrates her willingness to learn and build on her mistakes. Paisley Swidecki, she goes above and beyond expectations for all and always turns in her assignments on time. It's a big deal. Sarah Stevens is a great communicator, unconditionally trustworthy, and 100% dedicated to everything she does. Teresa Mendoza Lorenzo has completed nearly 2 years worth of reading assignments in less than a year. She consistently works tirelessly on improving her reading, and her work has paid off. Rudy Pablo has shown the willingness and ability to learn, build on mistakes, and use his time in class to focus on his own learning. And last but definitely not least, that's Destiny Milo Dolezal. And she was nominated for her determination and her resilience. She has made tremendous academic growth in math this year. And I am so proud of just these little handful of students, and there's so many more at the Bay. Just academic resilience, it's a real thing. Any questions? No. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I think next up is Cedar High School.
Good evening, President Davidson, Superintendent Jesse, and distinguished members of the board. My name is Amber Hosford, and I'm the principal at Cedar High School. So I'd like to share a couple things about our students. This is one of the events and celebrations that we really just wanted to acknowledge is our Envirothon participants and winners. I know Quinn talked about them already, but these are our participants: Aaron Sosa, Data Kennison, Joseph McCrae, Caleb Peterson, Bernice Vargas Villa, Angela Ramirez Herrera. These students participated in our local event, and they ended up being qualified. They placed in the top of their department, or in their group, for Mason County. So they were #1, so they traveled on to state for Mason County participation. When they went to state, they just came back from Ellensburg.
they took a one-day trip because it's not a club, it was part of a class. So bless Mr. Kurt Garrison for driving them in one day over, did the competition and came back. And so even though they didn't place onto nationals, they had a great experience for a first team going to a state event. Senior Showcase, one of the other students I wanted to acknowledge was Elena Hernandez, who's actually here today. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit about Elena. Elena put on our first ever Senior Showcase. So that was a day and an event where all of our seniors put together their high school and beyond plans. Instead of how traditionally we've done it where they've put them together in a binder, our students made anything from video games to present their high school and beyond plans to some created songs, some created videos, some did a presentation, and everything was recorded. So we were able to get everybody in. Students didn't actually have to stand in front of it. They pre-recorded it, and then we were able to play it for everybody to see. So everybody got their own individual technique on how they wanted to present that, so it was a pretty cool opportunity. Elena was the instrumental partner in organizing all of that, putting all the information together, so she did a great job. We also, as you guys know, since we are a brand new school, we also needed to create a mascot. So our students together decided, which will be in the Constitution later, that you guys will hopefully approve. We are now the Black Bears. Well, hopefully we will be officially at the end of this meeting. But we are the Black Bears. And so some of our students ended up designing the logos because I want swag, and our kids wanted swag. And so they came up with these two logos, and this is Kal-El Ruiz and Dale Irish, and they designed the two logos on the side that you will see now around, hopefully around town. So those are just a couple of our things. One other just that I didn't put in pictures, I don't want to take too long, is that we also do Cedar Celebration Awards. I didn't have them up here, but what those are is we celebrate our students for our community agreements, which are collaboration, engagement, diversity, agency, and respect. So when students are performing some of those tasks, they get a Cedar Celebration card, and we put them in a box, and at the end of the term we draw. So we also do honor roll awards and presentations and things like that. So any questions? No. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, next up we have Choice High School.
Good evening, everyone. Superintendent Jesse and Shelton School District Board of Directors, thank you for having us here tonight. So this is the Choice recognition slides here. I should say I'm Stacy Anderson, Principal of Choice. So we have a lot of different awards that we give to our students, and the first one I wanted to really feature was on the left there we have Dakota Kruger. He was the Newmarket Skills Center Student of the Month, so like the other two high schools, our students can go to Newmarket, and we're super proud of Dakota. He's a very quiet student who was honored there at Newmarket. And then one of our big pieces was our senior awards night, and you can see a couple of our different seniors there getting their awards. On the far right there is Audra, and I did encourage Audra to be here tonight. She's been really sick, and she also has some new responsibilities taking care of her siblings at home, so I do apologize she wasn't able to be here. But they are all receiving their senior awards and getting ready for graduation next week, so that was a really fun night. Over on the left side there, we do awards every trimester for our students who achieve full credit that trimester, or they're the most improved students. We also do drawings of Cool Cat Awards for students to get incentives for the things they've done, a lot like the other schools do, just so we can celebrate kids all through the school year. So those are some of our academic awards. And then we also just wanted to highlight some of our school culture. So one of the big things we had to do coming back from the pandemic was to work on school culture. So we really did a lot of fun stuff this year that we were just starting to be able to get back out and do. So we have our Pathways program on campus, and that's for students ages 18 to 21 who have some significant special needs, and they've completed most of their graduation requirements, but now they're working on work skills and going out and visiting job sites. So that's some of our Pathways students touring the YMCA. We did receive an award for the school with the best job of masking up earlier this year in the pandemic, so our kids were pretty excited about that, and they got their own choice masks. We're glad we don't have to do that anymore, but they did a great job in the fall. We've had our outdoor clubs start going out, and we've got kids who went out clam digging and fishing. We had a kid who just caught their first fish in their life on Saturday, so that was pretty cool. And then on the left side there, we had a student lock-in. So for the first time in many years now, we got to stay overnight in the school with the students. So myself and a couple staff, we stayed overnight, played lots of games, had a fun time. And that's only for students who had no discipline referrals this year, so they qualified for that. And then we did a costume contest, and that's a couple of the students from our Pathways program all dressed up. So in addition to doing recognition for academics, we just try to add a lot of fun things in to keep students engaged in the school. So those are our celebrations. Thank you.
Thank you. So Stacy, do you get any sleep when you stay overnight like that and do a lock-in?
I will say I'm getting older and older, and I don't know about doing this. I've been doing the lock-ins for about 20 years, but no sleep much at all. Yeah. But the kids have fun. We actually turn off the lights. We play hide and seek. We have a great time. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'm sure that is a really special thing for everybody.
And it was neat to see some of the kids who just really haven't gotten to do a lot in 2 years get to bond with each other and play video games and play tag and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah.
So not much sleep
great.
though. Thanks.
And last up, we have Shelton High School.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Jesse, members of the executive team. Thank you very much. My name is Bruce Kipper. I'm the principal at Shelton High School, and it is my honor to be here tonight to share with you students that we are recognizing. When you have a school of 1,400 plus students, it's hard to narrow it down to 10 or 12 kids. Despite what you might see in the news and what you hear on social media, most of what happens at any of our schools is positive. But for some reason, they don't like to report that. So we tried to pick 11 students tonight that represented our entire student body, whether it was academically, socially, emotionally, or just exhibiting the culture and climate we want at Shelton High School. And so we had our teachers nominate students, and these are, which way am I pointing this thing? There we go. All right, so the first student I'd like to recognize is Mckenna Tucker. Mckenna is a hardworking, dedicated student who has continuously shown perseverance throughout the pandemic. These are all comments provided by the teachers that nominated the students. Taylor McCaslin is our second student. Taylor is a hardworking student whose determination to succeed is unwavering. Winslato Morales Oria is a really special story, let me tell you. Most of the time during the pandemic, he had no access to online learning. He came to us not speaking English, and he has persevered through the pandemic and is going to graduate, despite trying to learn in a second language. And we are so proud of him and the work he has done to get to this point. The next student is Loki Dobson. Loki continues to keep her education and her grades a top priority, despite the challenges she faces every day. She has found comfort in participating in a myriad of extracurricular activities. This girl stays busy. And she surrounded herself with her peers and her teachers to create a comfort zone for herself. She continues to grow as a human being with greater compassion and understanding for those around her. Miguel Velasquez Esteban works very hard to learn geometry in a second language. Not only does he learn it, he assures that his classmates learn it also. He's like a second teacher in the classroom. His teacher reported he writes and takes notes for other students and shares them with his peers. Logan Vogel has maintained a perfect grade in math despite having to overcome personal challenges in his life. Juan Trejo Frazier is a gifted math student, but more importantly, a true leader. He goes above and beyond to support his peers both academically and personally. The last four students I'd like to recognize are nominated by our staff and voted as our outstanding students for the fall, and that is Noelia Ahalan, who's a freshman, Anthony Anderson, a sophomore, Gabrielle Monroe, a junior, and Nate Bailey, a senior. Those were picked as the representatives of the outstanding students in the fall for their grade levels. So, as I said, this is just what I believe is a really good representation of our student body and the things that our students have overcome, just like at all of our schools, the last 2 years. So I appreciate the opportunity to share this with everybody, and I'm super excited about the future, about not only Shelton High School, but all of our schools and what's happening in the Shelton School District. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of the night.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you to all of the principals tonight for coming and sharing all of these amazing just ways that you celebrate your students and all the achievements that they've been making. It's really nice to have all of you here at the meeting and see all of these pictures, so thank you very much. Do any other board members have any questions or comments before we move on? All right, then we will go to 5.05, which is the March 2022 budget status report with Brenda.
Bruce is way taller than me. I want to first thank you for moving this to this board meeting. You wouldn't have wanted me here last time, so I thank you and appreciate that. I'll be doing the March budget status tonight, and next board meeting we'll have the April, so we'll be caught up at that point in time. So in our general fund at the end of March, we had $947,309.47. Capital projects fund is down to $6,441.82. We will be receiving the non-high payments on June 1st to boost that back up. Debt service fund ended at $1,056,781.92. We do have bond payments due on June 1st. Those are coming up. Associated Student Body Fund ended March with $551,734.35. Transportation Vehicle Fund ended with $247,782.50. Our new director, Don Hall, is pricing buses and seeing availability. It's pretty tight, as Marty probably knows. We're struggling with getting some buses. Private Purpose Trust Fund has our 3 scholarships in there, the Drake Scholarship, Mike Johnson Memorial, and the Bolt Memorial. That ended at $235,598.47. I believe Allison sent you the update on the Drake Scholarship, so as you start awarding, you'll know what you have available in there. Do you have any questions?
No questions. You always keep it very clear, and we're glad you're feeling better.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the budget status report. So now moving on, we'll go to the consent agenda. There's 4 items on that. There are some minutes, a few warrants, and the personnel report.
Move to adopt the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the consent agenda has passed. Now we will go into the discussion and action items. 7.01 is the proposed approval of the new Cedar High School ASB Constitution. And we have Jessica Dean and students presenting this, or? Okay, yes.
Good evening. My name is Elena Hernandez, and I'm the ASB president at Cedar High School. And I am here tonight to ask for the approval of our new constitution due to the fact that Cedar High School was on the same campus as Choice during the first few years. So therefore, we need the student council to, the student council have worked hard to create our own new constitution for Cedar High that shows us. And so we are here to ask for the approval. Any questions?
Did anybody have any questions? I know we had this as part of our board packet.
The one question that I have is down towards the end, you talk about when people don't show up or, dereliction of duty and things like that, and you talk about impeachment.
Yes.
So as a matter of civics and semantics, would you want to put something in there? Impeachment is typically your first step, and then removal or discipline, sanctioning, whatever would be after that. And so just to kind of clean that up, would you want to replace the word impeachment with something else, or have a follow-up to the impeachment? For example, in my lifetime, we've had 3 presidents be impeached, and none of them were removed. Or 1, 2, well, there were 3 impeachments, 2 of them. Anyway, so it's not, I think that it's, you're using the word not necessarily correctly or completely.
Okay. Yeah. So I think adding removal would make a little bit more sense.
Okay.
So if there are any changes or corrections, we can approve this and they can make those changes after that. Did you have a question, Sandy? All right, it is, this is the proposed approval. I think it's recommended for approval. If there are no other questions, is there a motion?
I would move that we accept the proposed approval of the new Cedar High School ASB Constitution.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the new Cedar High School ASB Constitution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the approval has passed.
Thank you.
You've got a constitution. And now you can stay up there for the 7.02, which is the proposed approval of a new Cedar High School Ambassadors Club for 2022-23.
Hello, I'm Joseph McCrae. I'm here to petition for Cedar High School to have a new club called Cedar Ambassadors. The purpose of said club is to create a safe environment for any member of Cedar High School to achieve educating incoming Cedar students about the culture of our school and how to be involved, to encourage students to be involved in Cedar culture in the larger community, to support individual exploration in real-world situations, and to facilitate an inclusive environment for the Cedar community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions about the Cedar High School Ambassadors Club? Nope. All right, is there a motion?
I would move that we approve the formation of the Ambassadors Club.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the new Cedar High School Ambassadors Club for 2022-23. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Hearing none, the Cedar High School Ambassador Club has passed.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much. And I do love the new Cedar logos that the students did. Those were really cool. All right, 7.03, proposed 2022-23 Interdistrict Cooperative Agreement with the New Market Vocational Skills Center. Superintendent Jesse.
Great, thank you. Yes, so the Shelton School District enters into an interdistrict agreement as part of a cooperative with 10 other school districts to operate the new skills center. I think when you saw Stacy, the principal for Choice, she was showing up some of the students that have a connection through Choice that take some coursework at New Market Vocational Center. It's been around for a long time. Each of the districts send students that are interested in some of the courses or kind of a pathway stuff. They tend to do, just like our academies, kind of an extension. They have different things they fill in that we do not offer, so that's why some of our students go there. And for us, it's just really is another opportunity that students have that, again, that may be something we just don't have. Sometimes like the building trades, they do offer some technology stuff that we do not offer. And then there's I think they used to, or they might have cut the scuba diving one. They were doing some work around that as well. So the courses change, kind of just like, again, our academies or coursework would normally happen in high school. Things come and go. Currently, about 15 students attend. We have up to 25 seats guaranteed. So just based on whatever the enrollment is, we receive the invoices every month, and then we pay those to do, as part of that, cooperative. It's kind of a unique agreement within the state. I think it's really kind of cool, but actually it's something that goes on in a lot of other states that have these kind of joint cooperatives across school districts. Just again, because you're trying to provide all sorts of opportunities and skills and experiences for your students. And something like just New Market's really nice, so it ties into all things career technical education. So really is just, again, an agreement that we have as part of that co-op, and just presenting it here this evening for introduction. And if you want to move to approval, we could probably go there. If not, since it is an also ran, it's something that we do every year.
To your knowledge, is there anything different in this agreement than years past?
I'm not familiar enough. I did read through the agreement, especially when I came on board. What is our commitments? Ask a lot of questions. You can relate to that. I just want to know, like, what is this for? What do we do? How many students? Why does that connect? And I didn't see anything new, but I would say this part for us is I want to keep exploring this, because again, I think we have so many opportunities in the breadth for us for our high school students. I think it's part of the bigger package that we do need to, when we say in the strategic plan, what are our pathways? Well, I think we should figure out what are we going to do and continue to support, and what are some things that maybe aren't as necessary. Right now, I think New Market serves a purpose for us. But I also have to wonder, when we're talking about 15 students, how much is that? Are we truly invested into that versus all of our other things that we do provide, including with some of the university partners that we have?
Yeah, I didn't notice anything different from previous ones, but I didn't have two to compare, so I just thank you for that.
Move to approve the acceptance of the intercooperative agreement with New Market.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed 2022-23 Interdistrict Cooperative Agreement with the New Market Vocational Skills Center. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Hearing none, that Interdistrict Cooperative Agreement has passed. Now we've got a second opportunity for community comments. Are there any other people that are here with us tonight that would like to sign up for community comments? Or do we have anyone that's joined us via Zoom or... No, we do not have anyone online. If we do have a public comment, you're welcome to come up and state your name and your address, and I will write it down.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Hi, good afternoon.
Mi nombre es Marisol Miranda.
My name is
work in
Marisol Miranda,
Shelton.
and I live in Shelton.
Soy madre de un niño que va en tercer grado
I'm a mother of a child who goes on third
y una
grade
niña de segundo grado
and a second grade
en Evergreen.
daughter at Evergreen.
Para mí es muy importante
For me, it's very important,
y espero que para ustedes
and
también
I
sea
hope,
de suma
I
importancia
hope it's important to you as well,
tratar el tema de bullying en escuelas.
regarding the bullying at schools.
El distrito escolar alguna vez nos ha hecho llegar una información en línea.
The school district in the past has made us known regarding through a message online,
Pero también pienso que sería muy importante que los niños de la escuela
but I know it's very
tuvieran la
important
información.
that the children at school are
Directo.
also aware of the information.
Algunos papás no tienen tiempo, pienso yo, de informar a sus hijos del daño que es el bullying.
Some parents may not have the time or the resources to inform their children regarding the damage that could be regarding bullying.
A veces los niños no están informados y hacen daño indirectamente a otros niños.
Sometimes children are not aware and they may damage or inflict some kind of pain to other children unknowing.
Mis dos hijos han sufrido bullying en Evergreen,
My 2 children have suffered bullying at Evergreen
al nivel de que mi hija hay días que no ha querido regresar a la
to
escuela.
the point that my daughter doesn't want to go back to school in some days.
Yo he hablado con la maestra, pero solamente queda ahí y sigue lo mismo.
I've spoken to a teacher in the past, but the issue remains the same.
Me gustaría mucho de ustedes que nos pudieran apoyar con este tema.
I would like to see if you can support us on that topic.
Otra petición que tengo
Another topic that I have,
si se pudiera checar el tiempo de lunch en la escuela de Evergreen.
if you could review the lunch time at Evergreen.
Mis niños la mayoría de veces se quejan de no haber alcanzado a comer su lunch.
My children at times they have mentioned they don't have enough time to eat their lunch.
Y también pienso que es importante es hasta las 3:30, a las 11, o sea,
And I also think
ellos tienen hambre.
and sometimes other times such as 3:30 or 11.
Y otro punto es
And one
que
last
escuché que para el curso de verano
And during the summer courses,
ofrecen los libros de lectura en inglés.
you offer the courses, the books in English.
Mis hijos están aprendiendo a ser bilingües.
My children are learning to be bilingual.
Su primer idioma es español.
Their first language is Spanish.
Y yo no vi una oportunidad de libros en español para
And I
aprender.
didn't see any of those books in the list in offering Spanish.
Espero que tomen en cuenta mis puntos de vista.
I hope you consider my point of views.
Agradezco la oportunidad del programa bilingüe en Evergreen.
And I thank you for the opportunity for the bilingual program at Evergreen.
Nuestros niños son el futuro
And our children are the future.
y es muy importante que ellos tengan esa oportunidad de desarrollarse en dos idiomas.
And I think it's a great opportunity for them to develop in both languages.
Les agradezco infinitamente su tiempo
I
y su
thank you
ayuda.
infinitely for your time and your help.
Estoy segura que obtendremos algo.
I'm sure that we will obtain something.
Buenas tardes.
Thank
Gracias.
you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Buenas noches, la
Good
mesa
evening.
directiva. Gracias por el
Board of
tiempo que
Directors,
nos
thank you for the
dan
time that you're giving us
y escuchar nuestras opiniones.
and listen to our opinions.
Mi nombre es Leo Vigilda
My name is
Hernández.
Leo Vigilda Hernandez.
Vivo en 917
I live in
W Franklin
917
Street
West Franklin Street.
y vengo para apoyar el
And I come
lenguaje,
to support
el lenguaje de doble inmersión.
the bilingual program of double immersion.
Pienso que es importante porque es parte de nuestra cultura y también es muy importante porque son el futuro de nuestra comunidad.
I think this is important because it's part of our culture and also it's important because it's part of our future as a community.
También creo que es súper importante porque podemos comunicarnos entre familia, entre padres e hijos y
Also
podemos
because it's important that we communicate between families and also between parents and children.
porque podemos entender qué piensan, qué quieren y qué sienten nuestros hijos. Si ellos no hablan el español, tal vez nos entiendan que nosotros les preguntemos.
And because it's important for us to understand their feelings and what they want and their needs. If they don't speak Spanish, we'll not be able to convey that information very well.
Okay. En este momento, algo que no me parece es
Something
que
that I don't like at this moment
es que estén reduciendo cada vez más las clases en español.
is that you're reducing more and more and even more the classes in Spanish.
Que no nos estén dando suficiente información sobre los cambios que hay en las escuelas.
That you're not giving us enough information regarding the changes that are happening at schools.
Tengo entendido que el año pasado había 80 cupos para el idioma español.
It was my understanding that last year there were 80 seats for this Spanish program.
Ahora este año tengo entendido que hay solo 40 y solamente por sorteo.
And this year I'm aware that there are only 40 and this only comes through a lottery system.
Mi hija va a entrar en la escuela preescolar y me gustaría mucho que ella también tuviera clases en español.
My daughter is coming into preschool and I would like her to have also the learning Spanish opportunity.
Pero si hay solo 40 cupos y por sorteo no me gustaría que ella quedara fuera.
And if there are only 40 seats by lottery, I don't want her to be out of this program.
Algo que yo creo que necesita cambiar es la forma en que se comunican con la comunidad latina.
Something that I believe should change is the way you communicate with the Latino community.
Porque cuando se dirigen a la comunidad latina hay muchas palabras rebuscadas que nosotros no entendemos.
When you communicate with the Latino community, there are words that may be convoluted that we don't understand.
Pienso que una manera más sencilla es mejor.
I believe that a better way to communicate with us is by...
Detrás de todo esto solo hay muchas personas que necesitan, que quieren que sus hijos estudien en español.
Is that there are many families behind this, there are families who are willing and excited for their children to learn Spanish.
No se acercan porque nos da pena, yo estoy aquí casi temblando hablando, pero...
It could be because they're shy, and again, I'm very scared right now speaking to you.
Pero si ustedes hicieran una encuesta por cada escuela que hay en este Shelton, se darían cuenta que somos mayoría los que quieren aprender español.
But if you do a survey, you will realize that there's a great majority of the people who are wanting to learn the language in Spanish.
Me gustaría mucho que no les cerraran las puertas a los niños que están creciendo en este momento, que más tarde...
Please don't close the doors to the students that are coming in that later.
Cuando ellos están en la escuela es difícil el comienzo, pero más adelante los resultados son diferentes. Ellos salen bilingües.
When they come in, it could be hard at the beginning, but later, at the beginning, there could be great success. They come out bilingual.
Muchas gracias por
Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Okay. Is that it for or we've got one more?
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Mi nombre es Janet González.
My name is Janet González.
Vengo del 1727 Boulder Street.
1727 Boulder Street.
Como madre de familia,
As a mother,
vengo, yo creo que, como dijo ya una madre de familia, en representación de la comunidad latina,
representing the community, the Latino community in this city.
a pedirles de que por favor tomen muy en cuenta el programa de Dual Language.
Please keep in mind the Dual Language program.
La verdad que como madre de familia se me es un poco difícil el idioma inglés.
As a mother of my household, the English language is somehow hard for me.
Se me ha hecho de cierta manera sentir como inferior a las demás personas por el hecho de no poder entender el inglés.
I sometimes feel inferior with other people because I don't speak the language of English.
Si para mí esto es muy difícil, se pueden imaginar el trauma que los niños también reciben en las escuelas por medio del bullying, por el simple hecho de ser hispanos.
If that is hard for me, just imagine what the children are feeling at schools for the simple fact that they are Hispanic.
Quisiera también que tomaran en cuenta sobre la seguridad en los diferentes establecimientos.
I also like you to consider the safety and security at the different establishments.
Por los pleitos que se han generado entre estudiantes a causa de mucho bullying, como lo dijo ya una madre de familia.
Because of the fights that occur, again, due to the bullying that occurs in those schools.
También quiero tomar en cuenta que se pueda tomar, yo creo que sí, como escuela, como tienen normas, pero quisiéramos que se ampliara un poquito más la hora de comida de los estudiantes.
I would like to also to consider that maybe as a school to change in the norms to elongate the time for lunches.
Porque ellos no alcanzan a comer el tiempo en el que les dan.
Because again, they don't have enough time to eat with the time they have.
También quisiera pedirles que en vez de que se quite el programa de español-inglés, se pueda ampliar no solo en Evergreen, sino en las demás escuelas que lo necesitan.
Also, I'd like you to consider that instead of removing the Spanish-English language altogether, please expand it into other schools.
Y vuelvo a recalcar lo que decía la compañera, que se haga una encuesta y que se puedan dar cuenta a través de las encuestas que necesitamos el inglés español en todas las escuelas del distrito.
And as previously stated by one of my partners here, do this through a survey so that you can realize how important this is.
Quisiera que también se tomara en cuenta que las personas que están en las escuelas como de ayuda español puedan darnos la información correctamente como debe de ser.
And I also took you to consider that the people who are working as bilingual staff see that you give us information exactly as it is and with the correct information.
No suponiendo, ni quitando, ni poniéndole, sino realmente como el distrito lo dice, que sea de esa manera, porque ha habido mucha confusión. Y como se dijo, no todas tenemos el valor de pararnos enfrente y poder venir a expresar lo que en realidad estamos pasando en las escuelas.
Not inferring or miscommunicating or censoring or blocking information, but rather give us the information directly as it comes from the district. Because as I mentioned before, not many parents have the bravery to come here and speak before you this evening.
Espero pueda tomarse en cuenta porque hemos tenido otras reuniones, creo, acá 2 meses en la escuela de al lado, pero como se ha dicho siempre, todo se ha quedado como en el escritorio y no hemos visto ningún cambio, ningún resultado en lo que se está pidiendo como comunidad latina.
As you mentioned, we have conversations in the past in other schools like next door, but everything remains on the desk with no actions happening whatsoever.
Muchísimas gracias por la atención.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, I think that concludes the community comments this evening. We're going to go into board member comments now, and I think I'll start at this end of the table if that's all right, instead of down there at the end. So Marty.
Thank you. As I look back over the last 6-8 months, as we transitioned what I call PC post-COVID, we've had a significant learning curve on not only the mental health impacts and physical impacts on our students and our families from COVID, and as we try to reintegrate into a in-person learning situation, it hasn't been easy. But we've accomplished it. And I know in my communications and conversations with Mr. Jesse and the administration that we're looking forward to taking the lessons that we have learned this year in my topic of importance to me is student safety. How can we take the lessons that we've learned and make those improvements and those changes so we have a reduction in the student violence in the upcoming years? It's a challenge, but I also have said in the past that we have the ability and the willingness to overcome as both a board and teachers and administration and community. And from each other we learn, and from each other we will progress, and we will accomplish the best we can with what resources we have. As Mr. Jesse and of course Brendan knows with the budget, and having worked in government for years, knowing you do the best you can with what you have, you learn what you have, and press on and do more. For years we've been told to do more with less. We're to the point now we have to do more with what we have. And we'll just have to find a way to do it.
Thank you, Director Best. Director Wielander.
Turn it on. As our last meeting before graduation, I would like to say congratulations to all the seniors out there that'll be graduating this year. I'd also like to thank all of the public that showed up tonight. It's my hope that in the future we have more public here and more voices when not just it's a hot topic or a hot button topic. We're your representatives as to the education of your children. We're your voice to the superintendent and how things trickle down. Tonight we heard from a bunch of principals, and we heard true passion about their craft and love for your children. The fact that lunch with the principal is the #1 prize tells me that we are winning. The fact that, Mr. Kipper came up and told us that there's far more positive than negative out there tells me that we're winning. On the other hand, as we listen to the news and hear things out there, my advice to everybody is just be nice. Go meet your neighbors. Before you leave tonight, shake the hand of somebody you've never seen before. If you're out there in the TV world, whatever, just be nice. It's the best you can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Wielander. Director Tarswell.
Alrighty. Since the last school board meeting, I was also at the button robe ceremony. Love that. I don't think I've missed any of those that have been in person outside of COVID time. Always great to see the distinctive personalities in the making of the robes and hearing their stories. We also did conducted the interviews for the Drake Scholarship since the last board meeting, and the committee did a fine job of selecting some great candidates for us to interview. And finally, I want to give a thank you to those people that did come and speak tonight and every night. I mean, we all remember, we all know how scary it can be to stand up and to speak in front of a lot of people, but in a school board setting in front of a microphone can be very intimidating too. So I really want to thank all of the community members that came forward to speak, to share their opinions, and to bring their voices before us today. This is family involvement, this is family engagement, we need families and their participation in order to be able to move education along and to help all of our students reach their full potential. So again, I want to thank you, and I hope that will be conveyed in Spanish. I can say gracias, but it needs a more, I hope there'll be a more eloquent translation than gracias.
Thank you, Director Tarswell. Director Ward.
Yes, first of all, listening to Director Tarswell speak of the button ceremony, I was thrilled when I received my invitation to that. I thought that was going to be one of the most interesting and awesome things that I would ever go to, and that day I was not able to go. Something came up and I couldn't attend. So I want to apologize for that, because again, that was something I really was looking forward to. And I hope I have someday another chance to go to another. And also I want to thank all of the people who came out today. I've only been on the board for a short while, and it started out all on Zoom. So I love coming in here and seeing all these people. It lets me know that people of Shelton care about the education of their children. And that's why I ran to be on the board, because I care about those kids. And so I just want to say thank you for coming out.
Yes, our student representative, Quinn.
So this is my last meeting, and I wish Richard could be here, because I know he's always ecstatic about last meetings. But I'd just like to say, thank you, first of all, to the entire community, and especially those who helped put me here all the way from Mountain View to where I go now in Cedar, but also the students at Cedar who thought last year that I would be a good pick for this. I really appreciate that you guys put my name in without me asking. But I also really appreciate the staff at Cedar who've been so cooperative with helping me as I transition through all of this. And I'm sure Richard would say the exact same thing about his peers at SHS. I know he always has good words about his fellow students, but I'd also like to thank the board of directors for being so patient with me. as we've gone through these times. I know I can be kind of an annoying little tick on your side, but I figure sometimes that's kind of my job. So I'd like to say goodbye. I'll see you guys next year.
Yes, goodbye for now, but not forever. And I guess that leaves it with me. And first of all, I do want to thank all of the community members that came tonight. When I look out there, I see parents just like myself who care very much about their kids or the people that they know. I appreciated it when the students came and spoke out as well too. This can be a scary environment, as Director Tarswell had said, but please do remember, as Director Wielander said, we are your representatives and we are just people too, and we do care. So we appreciate the community involvement coming in and speaking to us about the things that you're concerned about and the things that you are happy about. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. I do want to say too that we had excellent candidates for the Drake Scholarship. It's one of my favorite things that we get to do on the board besides attending the graduations, because it's our chance to listen to students when we get to interview them, and it's wonderful to hear their stories and hear what their aspirations are and all of the things that led up to them applying for a scholarship and graduating, and it's really nice to hear those student stories. It's that same thing that I enjoyed about the button robe ceremony, going and hearing the families and hearing the students, and especially with the last year and a half, 2 years of the pandemic, it really brought it close to home. Sometimes I can think that we're kind of moving and getting back to normal, but when you do hear about those struggles that these now graduating seniors, they missed a lot of that time, and hearing how their families had to help them with online learning or just get out of the house and take walks to get a break when people couldn't really get out and socialize. And it was really hearing each of their individual stories and some of the struggles and their successes. We did hear that some family members were first to graduate high school, some are first time going to college for anyone in their family, and they all had some incredible plans awaiting them. So I do always appreciate hearing their stories. I want to remind everyone that the Med Academy ribbon cutting is tomorrow. That is another facility that I'm really happy that we have for our students and our community. And I think that's going to be a great celebration tomorrow. So if you can attend that, that's going to be a fun event at 4 o'clock there on the Shelton High School campus. I appreciated hearing all of the principals talk about their students tonight. I'm excited about the summer programming that we do have in support for our students. Having 2 kids in school who just went through the state testing, and sometimes they feel like they are falling short because of the interruption to their education. And I think it's great that we have books coming to classrooms, that we have summer programs that are going to help with math specifically and reading. And I think that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to graduations. For a moment when both Cedar and Choice reminded us that graduation's next week. Yeah. So we've got Memorial Weekend, and then we've got 2 graduations next Thursday and Friday. So that is just next week, and we will have some of our first graduates. And then a week after that, of course, we've got the Shelton High School graduation on the 11th. So these are going to be really exciting times. It's going to go by fast. And I also wanted to mention that the next school board meeting is June 14th, and I will not be present for that. I'm going to be out of town, so the Vice President, Director Best, is going to take that meeting over for me while I'm gone. And I think that that's about it. We do have an executive session this evening, so we are going to excuse ourselves for that. I'm not sure how long. Will that take about 30 minutes, possibly? There's no action, I believe, that's coming out of that, but we still need to come back into a public meeting to adjourn.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know about the time.
So we will check, I think about 30 minutes, And we'll check back if we have to announce that that's longer and anybody is waiting for us to hear. We're going to be heading down for an executive session and then coming back into the public meeting to adjourn once we are done with that. So for now, we will head into executive session.